refreshed, so screw you. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy, and today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of ending up on a cruise ship that is going to the same destinations over and over again, as opposed to getting on a ship that is like doing a world cruise or going to loads of different places. But before we start, please press like and subscribe for more cruise ship content, because I'll be making a lot more videos for you. And if you have any suggestions, you can leave them in the comments or DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. But as for now, let's get into the video. So most people who decide to work on cruise ships do so because they want to travel, they want to see the world, and working on cruise ships is a way that they can do that. So when people end up with a cruise ship that is just going to the same place over and over again, it's natural that people are like really disappointed by this. I think everyone goes into it thinking, oh my god, I'm going to be going here and here and here and here. So yes, it is a bit disheartening when that doesn't come to fruition, because the dream is to get a world cruise or a ship like Royal Caribbean Radiance of the Seas, where it did 3 months in Alaska and Canada, then we went over to Hawaii, Bora Bora, Tahiti, and then we went over to Australia, New Zealand, and like the Pacific Islands. It was amazing. But that is the dream. That is what you have in your head when you're like, I'm going to go and work on cruise ships. But if that doesn't happen and you get on a cruise ship that is doing a 2-week rotation around the Caribbean, so 1 week you do Western Caribbean, second week you do Eastern Caribbean, or you're doing the Med. So like when I was on Oceania, it was a 3-week rotation. So every Thursday we would leave from Malta, but we would do Italy 1 week, Greece the second week, and Croatia the third week. Nothing against any of those countries. I love them. But obviously after doing it for a while, it's not all bad, okay? We're going to go through some things in a minute, but you're still going to get your cruise ship experience. You're going to get to live with people from all over the world, work with people from all over the world, get to know different cultures, religions, languages. You're going to get to experience living on a cruise ship, no matter where the cruise ship is going. So I feel like you're still going to have an amazing experience, regardless of where this ship is actually going to go. So firstly, we're going to go through some good things about ending up on a cruise ship that is going to the same places over and over again for the duration of your contract. The first one is you really get to know the place. I have been to a lot of places. I've been very fortunate, but a lot of places that I've been to, I've only actually spent like 6 to 10 hours there. So yes, I've been able to see good glimpse of the place, but I haven't got to know the place. I haven't been able to submerge myself in the culture or get to know anyone there. Whereas if you're in Cozumel every 2 weeks or every week, you're gonna really get to know the place. You're probably gonna end up making really good friends there. And I don't mean on the ship, I mean you're gonna end up making friends with the locals because you're there so often. You're gonna get to know, you're gonna be able to go to the different restaurants, the different sites. You know, there's only so much that you can do if you're in a place once. If you go back numerous times, you get to see every part of that island or that destination. So when you finish your contract, you can say, like, I have been there, like, I know that place like the back of my hand. And that's really special. Because I always say, traveling on a cruise ship, it's so different to any other type of travel. You know, when you go backpacking and you stay in a country for a long period of time, you really get to know the place. On a cruise ship, you get 6 or 7 hours there. So this is the closest way to backpacking traveling that you can get by doing it on a cruise ship, if that makes sense, because you really get to know the culture and the people. You know what to expect, and you can get into some kind of routine. And while that probably doesn't sound ultra desirable while you're watching this on your couch, cruise ships are so unpredictable and there's so much going on all the time. Things are changing by the minute. So to have something that is predictable and is comfortable is amazing. Being on a cruise ship is going to be so far out of your comfort zone that being able to establish a new comfort zone whilst on board is so important. So for example, on Oceania, we were in Malta every week. And because we're there every week, we get to know what's gonna happen. It was embarkation day, so we're like, okay, we know that all the guests are going to be off by 10 a.m. I'm going to have this amount of time off because I have that amount of time off every week, and then I have to be back at this time. I know the place, and obviously when you know a place, you can get around easier. You know the do's and the don'ts. You know, if I go that way, it's going to take 10 minutes longer than if I go that way. You can get around faster. You can get stuff done faster. And because you know what's going on, you are able to make a plan. Even just like laundry. I'm going to do laundry on that day because I know X, Y, and Z happens on that day. That's just an example, but you get the gist. You can get into some kind of routine and know what's going on. You could sleep without feeling guilty. Guilty is probably the wrong word, actually. I think FOMO is going to be the right word. So on a cruise ship, it's very common to nap. Every crew member I've ever met naps. I can't nap at home. Like, if I'm tired during the day and I go to bed and try and have a nap, I will not be able to get to sleep. On a cruise ship, out like a light. Everyone, I don't know, it's a thing, everyone naps on a cruise ship. Because you're working long hours, you're tired, and you need to rest sometime. Because you're going to be at crew bar in the evening, so you can't sleep then. But the thing is, if you're on a world cruise and you're only going to a destination once, you don't want to sleep and have a lie-in and rest because you're like, well, we're only here once. Like, I need to get off and see it. Whereas if you're in Cozumel every week, you're like, I can nap, I can rest today because we're going to be here next week. So it really doesn't matter if I don't get off today because I'm not missing anything. If you are on a ship that goes to loads of places but just goes once, you do have to choose one where you just stay on board and you're like, I'll just give that one a miss because I need to catch up. You have to do it, otherwise you just die of exhaustion. The worst thing is when you unintentionally choose the wrong day. So like in Hamburg, you're like, okay, today is the day that I am going to stay on board and chill. And then everyone else gets off and they all come back on board and they're like, oh my God, that was the best day and you missed it. And it's like, why? Why did I have to choose that day to sleep? I remember on Virgin Voyages, I really needed to sleep. It actually wasn't during the day, it was at night. But I was like, for once, I'm just going to have an early night. I need to go to bed. And everyone was like, oh, come on, but there's a party. And I was like, no, I'm not going. I'm going to bed. And I did. I went to bed. And the next day, it turned out to be the best party that anyone had ever been to ever. And I was like, well, I feel really refreshed. So screw you. I was obviously feeling major FOMO that day, but you get my point. So if you are on a ship that is going to the same places over and over again, you don't feel bad about taking a day to rest. And that means that by the end of your contract, you're not as exhausted. And even during your contract, because you take the time to rest and recuperate, you have more energy and you're not as knackered. Now, the other thing, because everyone of a whole takes the time to rest and recuperate, and everyone is more energetic, the crew life is usually better on a ship that is just going round and round in circles. If you're doing a world cruise, everyone's knackered because everyone's using their spare time to go and see these amazing places, which means of an evening, no one's at the crew bar. Everyone's in bed. No one's going to the shows. There's not really a whole lot of socializing going on because everyone is so tired because they're working and they're getting off to see the places. So if you are on a ship that's just on rotation, then people are going to have the energy to enjoy themselves in crew bar, in the shows, go for dinner. So your social life is going to be better on a ship that's on rotation than on a ship that's doing a world cruise. And the last one, but a really big one, is you are able to save money. Obviously, if you're in new places all the time, you are going to want to spend your money on doing activities and seeing that place. On my first contract, I think I came home with like, not a lot. I didn't save barely anything. I spent everything I earned. I do not regret it. I had the best time. But because we were going, it wasn't a world cruise, but we were, you know, pretty much always in a different place. I was doing everything I could. So I didn't save any money. If you're on rotation, like we were in Dubrovnik all the time, I did the canoe trip, I did the boat trip. Those were like the big expenses. And I didn't need to do them again. I mean, I could have done them again, but I was like, no, I've done them once. I feel like I've done it. So I didn't spend as much money as I would have if we were then going on to Russia or Iceland. Yeah, saving money is a very big bonus to being on a ship that is on rotation. Now on to the less desirable part of being on a ship, that is rotating the same places for the duration of your contract. It can get boring if you let it get boring. So what I mean by that is, let's say you are doing the Caribbean on a 2-week rotation. Eastern, Western, Eastern, Western. Now, while I'm in the UK, I'm like, what I would give to be on a Caribbean beach right now. However, if you are doing that for like 9 months straight, it is going to get boring, because while it's good to get in a routine, people let themselves get into too much of a routine. They get off at the same time, they go to the same place to get Wi-Fi and food, they go to the same beach, they do the same things over and over again, and then they're like, well, I'm bored. It's like, well, of course you're bored. Anyone would be bored if they'd ate that ravioli 10 times. I don't know. So yes, it's good to have a routine so that you can relax into it, but you still need to make the effort to do something different every time you're in a port. Guaranteed, there is not just one restaurant with Wi-Fi in a port. There is not just one beach that you can go to in the Caribbean. There's loads. So try it out. Try something new every time you're there. But people don't. People get back into their comfort zone and then they complain that they're bored. It's only boring if you make it boring. And I've done it. Like, we were in Malta every Thursday. I got off at the same time. I went to Crave. Amazing. I had the same ravioli every time. Then I went to the same shops, and yeah, it got boring. I love Malta, and there's so much to do in Malta, and I really kick myself now for not making the most of being there every week. I did a lot, but just not as much as I would have liked to have done. So we all do it, especially when you're tired from work. It's so easy to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna do the same thing. And that's fine, but then don't complain that you're bored. There is nothing to break up your contract. When I was with Steiner on Radiance, Alaska, Canada for 3 months, then Hawaii, Bora Bora, then Australia. Obviously the first 2 months in Alaska were really exciting, and then in the 3rd month it was kind of getting a bit samey, but we were looking forward to Hawaii and Bora Bora. We went to Hawaii and Bora Bora and did not get bored of that, but we had Australia to look forward to, and then when Australia was getting a little bit like, we had New Zealand to look forward to, and then, you always have something to look forward to. The first part of my contract was spent in Alaska. The second part of my contract was spent in Australia and New Zealand. It felt like 2 different contracts, just like being transferred. So on my first contract on Rhapsody, I was transferred to Legend of the Seas. At the time, I was like, this is the worst thing in the world. But going on Legend, it broke up my contract because there was new people to meet, a new manager, a new way of doing things, a brand new itinerary. I kind of got my buzz back, whereas on Rhapsody I was starting to lose it because I was like, okay, like, I've been here for ages, I'm getting tired now. And also, I've talked about this in, I think, the 10 stages of my cruise ship contract. I'll link that down below. But you get to a point where you just want to go home. Like, all you can think about is going home. So it's really good if you have an itinerary change around that time, because then you stop thinking about going home and you're like, oh my God, there's these new places to see. So really that's the only downside to doing a rotation, is there is nothing to break up your contract. It's just a really, really long time spent in the same place. I just want you to bear in mind that for most jobs on board, for your second contract, you can request. So if you do end up on a cruise ship doing a rotation and you're like, oh my God, I was really hoping to get on a ship that did a world cruise or just went to loads of different places, know that for your second contract, you'll be able to request a ship. And just know that everything happens for a reason. I mean, when I got transferred to Legend, I was devastated. But I ended up meeting 2 of my best friends on Legend that I can't imagine life without now. And the same thing, like, the ship that you wanted, you might not get, but the ship that you're going on, Your new best friend might be on there. Your new boyfriend, your new partner might be on there. I believe everything happens for a reason. Because you're not spending as much money, you might be able to save enough money to pay off your debts or buy a car. And you are still going to have an incredible experience regardless of where the cruise ship goes. You're still going to meet people from all over the world. You're still going to get to work with people from all over the world, make new best friends, learn so much about yourself, improve your social skills, expand your worldly knowledge. You're still going to have the best experience of your life. The cruise ship itinerary is kind of like the cherry on top of a cake. And it's a big cherry, but the cake is still good without the cherry. With or without the cherry, the cake's good. What I'm trying to say is your experience is going to be great. Great itinerary or not. So try not to be really disheartened if you end up with a ship that doesn't have your dream itinerary, okay? There is a reason for that. You weren't meant to go on that. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video and you find it helpful. If you did, then please let me know in the comments. And if you have any video suggestions, you can DM me on Instagram at cruisingascrew and I will be sure to get back to you. But thank you so much for watching and subscribing. It really means the world, truly. And yeah, I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.